This is the GoTrax F5 folding electric bike. The frame folds for easy storage and transport, and it has fat tires for a more stable ride. And it's currently priced at around $1,000, so keep watching to learn more. Hello, I'm Forrest here at the Electric Bike Report. Now before we start, please remember to subscribe here before you leave our channel. Now back to the GoTrax F5. So first off, we like how GoTrax is offering this folding e-bike for under $1,000. That's a good price for an e-bike that folds and rides nicely. The 20-inch by 4-inch fat tires make this bike a little heavier, but folks who can deal with that get a bike that feels more stable than if it had skinny tires. We also like the list of components on this bike. The Shimano derailleur and gearing were great choices at this price. Now most of the parts are generic, but some, like the suspension fork and 652 watt-hour battery, are solid selections on a bike at this price. The suspension fork helps smoothen our rides, while the large battery helped take us farther than expected. Rounding out the remaining components, this F5 gets the power to make it go further using this 48-volt, 652 watt-hour lithium-ion battery. It also includes a 3-amp charger, and it can fully charge the battery in about 5 to 6 hours charge time. We liked the results this bike gave us on the range test, but more on that in a minute. Controlling your ride settings and data is the monocolor display interface. It has an LED screen to display your ride details and settings. This bike also has a headlight and tail light. They're LED and they're mounted to the bike to shine fairly brightly at night and help you stay safe. Drivetrain and gearing are taken care of by the Shimano Tourney 7-speed. It's got a 14 to 28 tooth cassette and a 48 tooth chainring. Front suspension is handled by the GoTrax coil spring hydraulic fork. The fork is simple, basic, and it gives 60 millimeters of travel as it smooths your ride and helps soak up the bumps. Stopping power comes from these nut brand brakes. They're hydraulic disc brakes with 180 millimeter rotors, dual piston calipers, and they use the same mineral oil a lot of other bikes use. This bike gives its stable ride, like I said, with the help of these 20-inch by 4-inch Chaoyang Aerosun K rubber fat tires. They have good tread for road and gravel, but just stay away from the ice, snow, and mud. This flat bar handlebar is 585 millimeters wide, and it can be vertically adjusted by up to 5 inches to better meet the rider's height. The rubber ergonomic grips, they're great for keeping your hands secure. The tan-colored saddle, that's GoTrax's standard sport seat, which I found pretty comfortable. It's easier to step off and support the bike thanks to its 15.5-inch standover height. The maximum rider weight is 265 pounds, and the total weight of this bike with battery is 67.4 pounds. GoTrax gives a limited 1-year warranty, and the frame, it's a 6061 aluminum alloy folding frame, so be sure to stick around to the end where we show you how to fold and unfold this bike. So those are the components on this $1,000 folding fat tire bike. This all sounds pretty good, so let's see how this bike did. Hey, how well can this bike stop? Well, to find the answer, we have our brake test rider, Griffin, pedal the bike up to 20 miles per hour on our course, and then he quickly pulls the levers for a safe stop. We do this 3 times and calculate an average stopping distance. These hydraulic disc brakes are from the Nut Company, and they did a good job of stopping the F5 with an average distance of 23 feet 5 inches. That's a wee bit long compared to the overall average of 20 to 22 feet, but when we compare this to other folding e-bikes, the F5's result was right in the middle. Actually, it was 1 inch better than the folding bike average. That's not shabby at all. These brakes use 180 millimeter rotors and dual piston calipers on the front and rear wheels, as well as using the same kind of brake fluid that other bikes use. As a buyer, I'm curious about the availability of spare brake pads, since that and tubes are the most common to replace. I was happy to see I could order a set and get them in a day or two, and for a fair price compared to the other bike brakes. Combined with the good brake test results and the availability of nut brake parts, this gave me additional peace of mind about this bike. The speed test tells us how fast we should expect this bike to go in each pedal assist level. This bike uses 5 PAS levels, and we also test the speed from just our pedaling with no motor assistance. Let's go outside now to our test course and see how this bike did. I'm going to talk about the PAS speeds now on this bike and get a average top speed at each PAS level. PAS, that's pedal assist system. So right now we're pedaling this bike with no motor assist, no pedal assist, and we're averaging about the low 9s, about 9, 9.4, 9.5, and 9.6. And so obviously you don't want to do this forever because, hey, it's an electric bike. You bought it to use the motor. So now I'm in 4th gear, so I'm going to click it up to 5th gear, 6th gear, and turn on the PAS. And here we are in PAS 1. As you can see, it doesn't even sound like the motor's engaging. I mean, I'm pedaling it at 10 miles an hour right now. I guess the PAS is set less than 10 miles per hour, it looks like. So now I'm going to go up to PAS 2. We're still at about 10 miles an hour pedaling on my own accord. And now we click it into PAS 2. And what do we have there? Still not feeling much of an engagement. I'm still in 6th gear, and it still feels like I'm rolling on my own pedaling. So, okay, so now we're going to click to PAS 3, and I'm still in 6th gear, pedaling on my own. Life. We've got life out of the motor now. And so we'll go ahead and move it up to 6th gear. And cruising along nicely, looks like about 12.8, 12.9. Usually bikes like this are about 14. So still running a little bit on the slow side. So now we're gonna go, let's check out PAS 4. Ooh, some more life there. In 7th gear, doing our non-exertive pedaling and getting close to 16. Not quite making it to 16, about 15.9. Oh, there we go. We just hit 16 briefly. 15.8, 15.9 final. So now PAS 5. Okay, so this thing came to life now, and now it's feeling like it's a class 2 e-bike that's meant to go up to 20 miles an hour with pedal assist. As you can see, we're about 19.6, 19.8, 19.9, almost hitting 20, but not quite. And this is completely flat path here. So, oh, there we go. Just a little blip. Yeah, 19.8, 19.9. Okay, so there's the PAS speeds for the GoTrax F5. Okay, now it's time for the throttle test. GoTrax F5 folding electric bike. How many seconds from 0 to its top speed, which should be pretty close to 20 miles an hour. Ready, set, go. Okay, got a pretty good surge of power here now, already at the 16, 17, 18, 19, 19.6, looks like we're about topping out at. Yep, okay. Looks like that's it. All right. On the first go, pedaling with no pedal assist, I could only get this bike up to 9.8 miles per hour. The 4-inch wide fat tires and 67-pound weight made it hard to pedal. When I clicked to PAS 1 and PAS 2, the motor didn't seem to respond, which meant my speed stayed right at around 10.2 miles per hour. The motor started coming alive though when I went to PAS 3, giving me a modest gain to 13.1 miles per hour. PAS 4 gave another good jolt up to 16 miles per hour. And finally, PAS 5. The F5 reached 19.8 miles per hour. Now our course is flat, so I was expecting to reach 20 miles per hour, but that just didn't happen. GoTrax said we should be able to ride this bike up to 60 miles on a single battery charge. Now our first range test, using the minimum PAS level that can take me the furthest, slow speeds on a heavy bike negated using PAS 1 or 2. But PAS 3, I wasn't expecting the F5 to even come close to reaching 60 miles in F3. But lo and behold, this GoTrax came darn close, taking me 53.68 miles in a time of 4 hours 49 minutes and an average speed of 11.87 miles per hour. In the second range test, I used PAS5 because we wanted to know the range for when a rider needs maximum speed the whole time, like when you're in a big hurry. GoTrax said 15.5 miles was the minimum distance this bike would go, but this bike took me 23.18 miles in a time of 1 hour 25 minutes and an average speed of 16.2 miles per hour. Other bikes often average around 18 miles per hour on this test, so the slower average speed probably explains why I went more than 8 miles beyond the predicted limit. An important takeaway from the second range test is that this bike can probably take you at least 20 miles when you're in a hurry. But your average speed will likely be closer to 16 miles per hour, not 18 to 19 miles per hour. How well can the GoTrax F5 climb hills? Well, we're about to find out now as we rejoin Justin out at the hill test course, Southwest Utah's daunting Hellhole Trail.
All right, we're on the GoTrax F5 doing the throttle test in max PAS, and we're gonna see how it does. Right now I'm right about 12 miles an hour through this first section. Let's see if it holds 12. Dropping down to about 11, 10. Holding 10 miles an hour fairly well. So not too bad. The motor, what I'm hearing, has kind of that, I would call it a medium level on the frequency. You can hear it. I'd say a little better than what I expected so far, given kind of the price tag on this bike. I'll let you listen through this last section here. Yeah, so kind of that lowish whine of the motor, but kind of held right at that like 9-10 miles per hour up this hill. I think it's going to have a fairly decent result on the throttle test. And again, probably a little better than what I expected, given kind of the weight of the bike, the upright riding position, and just the overall price level. Sounds pretty smooth, so let's go to the test results. Okay, next up is the pedal test for the GoTrax F5. Again, like normal, I'm just going to kind of softish pedal it. This is a rear hub motor, so try to keep my input fairly light, just to give you an idea of kind of where the at. So far, dropped down just about 12.5 miles per hour, 12. In that section, on your left. Thanks. I'm feeling pretty decent so far. This next section, I'll let you hear how the motor sounds as I climb. So it seems to have a slightly louder whine when you're pedaling, but it's been pretty solid through this whole thing. I haven't had to pedal like very hard at all. I've stayed in 7th gear the entire time. So might be some gearing that they could kind of change there, but really interested to see the overall results. Did fairly well.
As you saw in the first test, where Justin used the throttle only, it made a fairly steady march up the hill. It reached the top in a time of 1 minute and 22 seconds and an average speed of 13.2 miles per hour. Now in the second run, where Justin used PAS5 for maximum speed and he pedaled at a non-exertive pace to keep the PAS continually engaged, the F5 made its way up in a time of 1 minute 15 seconds and a 14.5 mile per hour average pace. Those are both very respectable pedal times, and maybe even a little better than we expect from a bike in this price range. Wherever you're looking to take the GoTrax F5, it should have enough motor power to help you on almost any hill. Next up, we want to answer the question, how does this bike feel when riding? So let's go back out on our test ride course and take a closer look at this bike's ride quality. Okay, I'm going to talk now about the ride quality of the GoTrax F5. So as a folding e-bike, the riding posture is upright. My back is vertical, straight up. and my arms completely extended out to the handlebars. About a 20-inch reach on this bike. And with the quick release, I've got the seat at the right height, so my tippy toes are touching the ground. I got good leg extension. So just for plain riding, that's a gift in itself, that you can fold this thing, unfold it, take it out from under your bed or wherever, and take it out and ride. You can't do that with a lot of bikes. So something to think about when you're looking at ride quality and other features on this bike. Hey, it's a folding bike, and that's a pretty amazing thing on its own. But this thing still rides good. Like it's got good street tires on it, 20-inch by 4-inch wide, and they give good handling on all the surfaces that I've ridden on. The fatter tires give you more traction, and if you haven't been on a bike in a while, probably help your confidence too. I've seen it with other people. Now suspension, it's got a front suspension fork to kind of help soak up some of the bumps. Not a lot of wheel travel on those forks, but depending how you have adjusted and depending how much PSI is in your tires, you can get a suspension advantage out of these to make your ride just a little bit better. It's just a matter of getting used to riding this thing and fine-tuning and learning a little bit more about suspension on bikes. But for just a simple, easy, low-cost bike, pretty good ride I'm having right now. Comfortable. I've got no problems at all. The wide tires, I'm gripping the trail really nicely, good handling. I did notice on the website some people riding on the dirt in some photos, and I don't think this should be viewed as a dirt bike, because yeah, the tires can handle maybe hard-packed dirt road, but that's about it. So I took it out in the dirt, hit some soft sand sections and little pebbly stuff, and it wasn't that great, so you want to keep that in mind. And last note is the motor engagement. Like I mentioned, PAS 1 and 2, not very good speeds and not great engagement, so something for GoTrax to work on there. Pick up the speed a little bit more and do something with that cadence sensor to get it engaged a little bit better. But you know, I'm cruising along right now in PAS 4 and I'm enjoying myself, and you know, if I had just pulled this thing out of the trunk of my car and set it up to go drive it, I'd be pretty grateful that I'm riding right now. And when you look at the price, oh my God, the price, what more can you ask for? I mean, this bike's going for a heck of a deal right now, and it, you know, except for a couple of the little things, still rides nice and a pretty good bike. With the exception of the Shimano gearing and nut brakes, all the parts on this bike are generic. That's the main reason GoTrax could sell this bike at around $1,000. So you can't expect a ton of name brands at this price. But we liked how GoTrax was pretty successful delivering a decent folding fat tire bike that can take you over 50 miles on a ride that was pretty comfortable considering all the factors involved. Like you saw in the video, I was comfortable riding the F5 with upright posture, easy handlebar reach, suspension fork that helps smooth the ride, super stable fat tires, but the motor was a little wonky in the lower PAS levels. The speeds were slow, and engagement with the motor using the cadence sensor was a bit delayed at times. PAS 3 and above were mostly good, although a tad slower than I expected. But again, this is a folding e-bike, so we can't expect it to ride like a full-on commuter or fancy tire bike. At the end of the day, or ride, you can fold this thing up so it uses significantly less space for storing and moving. And that's something a lot of other bikes wish they could do. Okay, now we're going to demonstrate how to fold and unfold this GoTrax F5. So the first thing you want to do is the pedal here. It needs to be brought in, so you're going to push it forward like that and then pull it down like that. I already did the pedal over here. Next up will be this clamp. So you push in on the red button and then lift the lever over, and then with your foot down on the back tire, you pull on it via the handlebar to get it together like that. And then the last part on the steering collar here, you push the silver button up, pull the lever down, and push the handlebar shaft like that, and there you have it. It's all folded up. So to unfold it and put it back together, you lift the steering, you push the lever in place, lock it in place, hold the handlebar, use your foot to push the front wheel around. You bring this part together, slap that into place, and pull out the pedals. And that's it. So this thing's now ready to ride. The GoTrax F5 met our expectations of being a low-cost folding bike that was also comfortable to ride. At this price point, it's easy to find things to gripe about, but that wouldn't be all that fair. After all, it's a $1,000 e-bike. The folding process was easy. The weight wasn't too much for me to lift, but you might need some help depending on your lifting ability. I do wish GoTrax gave a strap or bungee cord to keep the bike from unfolding though. I think this bike has a decent enough mix of components to help you feel like you're getting some value for your money. The F5's folding feature can really benefit you when you can't take a full-size bike with you. It's affordable, but it's also heavier than other folding e-bikes. And it rides more stable, which I think is a fair trade-off when deciding which bike to pick. GoTrax ships directly to buyers, meaning you can see one of these on your porch in a few days. So that's it. Thanks for watching our review of the GoTrax F5 folding e-bike. I'm Forrest at the Electric Bike Report. Please stay safe, and I'll see you next time.